Han, it's time for you to get up. His mom entered his room and woke him up. Could I just have 10 more minutes? Han grumbled as he rolled away from his mom and buried himself deeper into his layers of blankets. You're going to be late for school, she answered. Han gripped the blankets tighter to prevent them from being yanked off and exposing him to the rising sun. Even while fighting off his mother, his mind was half buried in sleep, as he desperately tried to claw his way towards slumber. Groaning from having to deal with this so early in the morning, he wished that he was an adult, where he was allowed to do whatever he wanted. Mom, are you trying to get Han to wake up again? Jennifer's muffled voice could be heard through the blankets surrounding him. Help me wake up your brother, his mom pleaded with his sister. Feeling the blankets being pulled in two different directions let him know that his sister had betrayed him and joined the side of evil. After several minutes, the sheets were ripped from on top of him and exposed the light. It's too bright! Han groaned and covered his face. Make sure you take a shower and brush your teeth before coming down to eat your breakfast, his mother instructed as he listened to the sound of her leaving his room. Hurry up too, Jennifer yelled at him as she also left his room. Rolling onto his back, Han slowly opened his eyes and stared at the ceiling. I wonder if they'll get angry if I just go back to sleep, he said out loud. Don't you dare! His sister yelled out from the bottom of the stairs. Groaning, he rolled out of bed and fell to the ground. The carpet felt comfortable against his cheek, calling out to him that he needed more sleep. Pressing both of his palms onto the carpet, Han forced his arms to push him up. Grabbing a portion of the bed, he pulled himself into a sitting position. His head tilted to one side, with both eyes still closed. I should wake up now, I guess, he grumbled. Getting up and nearly falling face first on his desk, which was across from his bed, Han was able to stabilize himself and stood up. Looking at his bed, the dresser next to it, and the desk across from his bed, Han scratched the back of his neck. Looking out the window, he saw the houses across the street that were being blasted with the rising sun. Turning around, Han went across the hallway and into the bathroom he shared with his sister. Closing his eyes, before turning on the light, he groaned at having to wake up. In the back of his mind, Han thought about getting rid of the sleepiness, but threw the idea out of his mind. Moving out of the way as he closed the door, he went over to the bathtub and turned on the faucet. The water rushed out of it, giving off a chilling sensation. As the knob turned, he placed his hand in the water and felt the cold water slowly begin to warm. Stepping into the tub, Han closed the shower curtains and pulled the switch. He was half-stepped too slow in getting out of the way of the water spraying out of the shower head. Damn it! He cursed the cold water as he tilted his head and rested on the tile wall. The steam rose like an unleashed spirit, signaling that the ritual was complete. Sidestepping into the water, the heat felt good as it cascaded over his left side. Twisting his body, he looked up and watched the steam as it hovered above him, ever watchful. His body warmed from the water, a process he enjoyed going through each morning. Feeling like he was getting rid of the morning chill, Han grabbed the soap and washcloth. Rubbing the soap into the cloth, making it overflow with soapy bubbles, Han returned the soap to its proper place and began cleaning himself. Compared to his former body, his smaller size allowed him to clean himself quickly. After rinsing himself off and promptly washing his hair, Han turned the handle and stopped the flow. As he watched the water drain, the excess water dripped from his semi-long hair. Using his hand to brush back his hair, he opened the shower curtain and reached for the towel. As he dried himself off, Han saw himself reflected by the mirror. Seeing his appearance, it dawned on him how much time had passed since he began this new adventure. Compared to when he was crawling around the house as a baby, he was now a young boy. Placing the towel back on the drying rack, he stepped out and enjoyed the feeling of the fuzzy rug. Taking a few steps to reach the sink, he began the daily ritual called brushing his teeth. After grabbing a toothbrush, applying toothpaste on it, and brushing his teeth, Han spat out the toothpaste and rinsed his mouth. The funniest thing about these morning rituals was how unnecessary they were. Taking into account his body and it being immune to everyday things like tooth decay and cavities, he chuckled thinking back to how often his sister would comment about him needing to shower and brush his teeth, with how often he would forget to do such things. After doing it for so long, Han found himself used to the routine. Humans need things to remind them of the normalcy of life, and morning habits were the easiest one to develop. This is one of the reasons why marketing firms encourage toothpaste makers to create a product that foamed. As people went about their morning and brushed their teeth, they were reassured by the foaming toothpaste even if the foaming action didn't do anything. Walking back to his room, Han reached for a cheap plastic hairbrush. Looking out the window and observing the neighborhood, he ran the brush through his hair. His head would tilt occasionally as the brush ran into a knot of hair. With the knots in his hair gone, Han enjoyed the feeling of the rounded plastic tips massaging his scalp. With the flick of his wrist, the brush went into the air and in a smooth arc onto the desk. Going over to his dresser, his fingers gripped the polished wooden knob. Pulling the drawer towards him, Han looked at the folded clothes, trying to decide what to wear. Shrugging his shoulders, he reached for a plain blue shirt and black pants, along with underwear and socks. After he put on the various articles of clothing, Han grabbed his abandoned-looking backpack in the corner of his room. He would toss the pack into the corner whenever he arrived home, giving off an image of the backpack crying out to him as it flew towards the remote part of his room. As he walked down the stairs, he slung the bag over his shoulder. Smells of eggs, sausages, and toast with butter wafted into his nostril as Han entered the living room. The usual smell of breakfast made him grin in anticipation. At the table, his dad and sister were eating while his mother was shuttling back and forth between the dining room and the kitchen. His dad was staying with his morning paper as he occasionally stabbed his pile of eggs and shoved them into his mouth. Jennifer was looking through one of her textbooks as she ate her breakfast. Being a junior, she had to get ready for college exams, so she almost always had her face buried in a book. Also, she was on the women's basketball team, which gave her more responsibilities. "Hun, you need to hurry up and eat breakfast so you can walk to school with Jennifer. She has morning practice, so she can't afford to be late," his mother urged him as she placed the plate down where he usually sat. Seeing the piles of eggs, sausages, and toast, he smiled at his mother. "Mom, as always, you cook the best breakfast." Even though his mother had to juggle so many responsibilities at home, he thought it was amazing how she is still able to make herself look amazing every day. Compared to other moms, Han thought she looked the best. The flapping of the newspaper made all of them turn towards his dad. "Your mother is hard at work cooking breakfast for you, so you should hurry up and eat before the food becomes cold." Without another word, Han walked towards the dining table and hung his backpack on the chair. After sitting down, Han grabbed his fork and began shoveling food into his mouth, enjoying the fluffy and light scrambled eggs. Han picked up one of the sausage links and bit down, the juices and flavor bursting in his mouth. The grease mixed with the eggs still in his mouth. "Han, you should slow down before you choke," his mother cautioned him once she saw how quickly he was eating. "Listen to your mother," his dad said. He nodded as he continued to eat at a rapid pace. Clearing the plate, he saw that Jennifer was finished and was taking the dishes to the sink. "We should get going, Han," Jennifer said to him. Gathering his dish and silverware, he took them to the sink. Setting them into the sink, he made sure to grab the uneaten toast, which he usually ate while they walked to school. Dashing to his seat and grabbing his pack, Han jumped over the coffee table and went out the door. He could hear footsteps behind him as Jennifer followed him. Going across the front lawn and reaching the rough asphalt street, the both of them slowed down to a walk. As they walked through the neighborhood, seeing the occasional kid heading either in the same direction or going to the elementary school, Han enjoyed eating the toast. The butter was just enough to give it a sweet flavor. Devouring the toast, Han finished by licking his fingers to get rid of the butter and crumbs. "I like that we don't have to take the bus to get to school," Jennifer remarked after they had walked a distance. Looking at Jennifer, Han said, "The bus wasn't too bad. I just prefer how Dad getting his transfer to the corporate office has improved his mood. After he moved to the new house, he hasn't been such an asshole to Mom." Han made a fist with his hands, thinking of all the times he wanted to spray his new dad's body across one of the walls. Even though he reincarnated to experience a new adventure, he didn't like such a kind woman being treated that way. It reminded him of a particular woman who he missed. "Yeah," Jennifer said. "At least we didn't have to move to a new school district," she added, trying to sound cheerful. Han glanced sideways at her. "I'm sure it has nothing to do with your boyfriend, Tommy," he teased her. Jennifer shoved him with one of her arms, annoyed by his comment. No, I just like being able to walk to school." She tried to deflect his inquiry. "He seems like a pretty nice guy," Han casually remarked. There was a quiet moment before she said, "Yeah, he is."